Hi, I'm James Delbeck, and welcome back to Life After Losses. This is the place where we talk about what it means to live after loss. Lately, I've been noticing a lot of conversations about being alone. Some people claiming it, other people fight against it, and some quietly wondering what it says about them. It made me realize how often we collapse very different experiences into one story and how much unnecessary pain that can create, especially after loss. And this week's reflection is an invitation to slow that conversation down a bit, to separate what's actually happening from what we're afraid it means, and to approach this season with more kindness towards ourselves. If you've been wrestling with quiet or questioning what being alone says about you, I hope you'll stay with me for a few minutes as we discuss alone is not the same as lonely in entry 264. I've been watching conversations about being alone unfold lately, especially with the holidays just behind us. And I experienced an episode myself this past New Year's Eve. It took me a while to gather my thoughts, partly because I've walked this path before, and partly because watching everyone's different experiences reminded me of something I learned the hard way. Some people are wearing their aloneness like armor. Others are confessing how much it hurts. Some are trying to convince themselves, and maybe us, that they're fine. Others are terrified they never will be. And sitting with all of it, I keep coming back to something I wish someone had told me sooner. Being alone is not the same thing as being lonely. I used to think they were the same thing. It took me a long time to understand they're not. And knowing the difference has made the hard days a little softer. So how do we end up here? We all have different stories about how the alone found us. Maybe it was divorce papers on a Tuesday. Maybe it was the silence of years of caregiving ended, the quiet after a loss on an ordinary Friday. Friends who drifted when you moved or couldn't handle your grief, or just life shifted. And suddenly the landscape looked different. Maybe it crept in so slowly you didn't notice until one Sunday you realized you hadn't spoken to anyone all weekend. And maybe it arrived all at once, like a door slamming shut. However it happened, I want you to know something. That question you're asking yourself, what's wrong with me, has an answer. Nothing. Nothing is wrong with you. And here's what I've learned. You can be alone and not lonely. I've had Saturday mornings with my coffee and the quiet that felt like medicine. You can be surrounded by people and feel profoundly lonely. I've been at full tables where no one really saw me. You can desperately want connection and still need solitude to breathe. You can feel grateful for peace one day and ache for someone to talk to the next. None of this makes you contradictory or confusing. It makes you human. And when loneliness shows up, I know it feels like proof you're broken or failing at healing. It's not. It's just you in your heart being human, reminding you that connection matters to you. It's information, not an indictment. The problem isn't the loneliness. It's when we decide loneliness means we're doing something wrong. And then there's the fear that makes it worse. And can we talk about something hard for a minute? That fear, the one that whispers at 2 a.m. that this is permanent, that this is your life now, I know that fear. It sits heavily on your chest during Sunday dinners, for one. It gets louder during the holidays when everyone else seems together. It tells you stories about forever, about being forgotten, about time running out. And once that fear takes hold, being alone stops feeling temporary and starts feeling like a sentence you can't escape. But here's what I've learned about permanent. It's a story we tell ourselves, not a truth we can prove. I've watched my own life change in ways I never saw coming. People appear, circumstances shift, hearts that felt closed crack open again. Seasons end without us forcing them to. Your aloneness is not a life sentence, it's a chapter, and chapters are meant to end. So what's the difference between being alone and abandoning yourself? I've noticed there's a particular cruelty we say for ourselves when we're alone. We tell ourselves stories. I should be over this by now. I shouldn't need anyone. I should be strong. Everyone handles this better. Those shoulds, they're not helping. They're just making an already difficult time harder. Being alone is a way that doesn't hurt as much as it sounds different. It sounds like This is where I am right now, and that's okay. This is allowed to be hard. I can take care of myself and still want connection. This chapter doesn't define my whole story. Can you hear the difference? One is punishment. The other is presence. You don't have to love being alone. You don't have to pretend it's some spiritual journey you signed up for. You can let it be what it is. Sometimes peaceful, sometimes hard, sometimes both in the same hour. And here's something that loss taught me. Loss has a way of forcing aloneness before we're ready. It doesn't ask permission, it just rearranges everything. The routines, the rituals, the reliable rhythms of our days. Even the way people look at us changes. In those early days, the loneliness can feel unbearable. I remember. But something else happens over time, which I didn't expect. Beneath the ache, I found something else. I stopped disappearing from myself while waiting for connection. I learned to be my own companion without pretending I didn't want others. I learned the difference between solitude and isolation. I learned that being alone didn't mean I was abandoned, not by others, and more importantly, not by myself. That shift, it changed everything. So let's try something new this week. If you're willing, I'd like you to try something different this week. Instead of asking, how do I stop being alone? Try asking, how do I stay kind to myself while I am alone? Instead of fearing this is forever, try curiosity. What might this quiet be trying to teach me? And instead of seeing loneliness as failure, try listening. What is my heart trying to tell me it needs? Connection doesn't always arrive when we want it, but self-compassion can start right now, today, in this moment. Now, if you're struggling right now, hear this. Look, I'm not going to tell you to love being alone. I'm not going to promise it gets easier tomorrow. What I will say is this: try to stay gentle with yourself. When you notice the difference between simply being in an empty room and feeling that ache of loneliness, it's huge. That's you learning to own your own landscape. That's fear that whispers forever. You can acknowledge it without believing it. You can say, I hear you, fear, but I know you're scared. But you don't know the future any better than I do. This part of your life, this chapter, it doesn't get to write your whole story. Being alone is not a failure. Loneliness is not a flaw. And learning to hold yourself with kindness while you navigate this, that's not settling or giving up. That's courage. That's strength. That's refusing to abandon yourself even when it feels empty. You're not broken. You're just human, finding your way through something hard, and you're doing better than you think. Thanks for watching.